What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 76. We start today's episode by seeing that two of our midfielders are returning from injury. Scott Boyd and Ethan and Paddy, who of course he signed on the summer transfer deadline day. And Paddy, of course, we trained from centre back to holding mid this season as our long-term successor for Ben Davies, and then he got injured like 8 weeks into his career at Newport County. But his transfer window does open. January 2027 arrives. We got around 3.5 million in the budget, and I've got no plans to do anything in January whatsoever, but let that cash stay in our bank balance and let it carry over to next season. The fact of the matter is, we're on a really good run right now. 6 games without a loss in the Premier League. We've cut the gap on Liverpool after our win against them at Anfield to 2 points. We've got them again in today's episode. The reverse fixture coming at Rodney Parade. We're into the Europa League last 16 after getting the bye in the round of 32 by topping our group. We've got the FA Cup third round to come today, which is against Burton Albion, League One side, the Brewers away from home. Why would I make big changes to this team? And I'll talk about it. When you're doing a series with like a rule and a regulation, like in this one, Club and Country, when you've got players that are, mandatory because they play for the same nation as the club as well, selling the star players, well, it makes no sense really, does it? That's why I talked about it. If Matondo, for example, got a £500 million bid from whoever, I'd still turn it down because what's the point? The money's not worth anything to me when I've got an 88 rated player for Club and Country. Still, first game of today's episode on the back of a brilliant run for Newport County. 3 straight wins and 3 straight clean sheets against the big boys. 4 wins in our last 5 in the Premier League as well. Right now on a really great run of form has put us in a great position in second place. Right now 2 points behind Liverpool, keeping pace with Jurgen Klopp's side, but I've talked about it. If we're going to stay with them, we need to be consistent for a long period of time and make sure we have very few slip-ups between now and the end of the season. So Newcastle United away, St James's Park in the northeast, and we fell behind right before the break. Adam Armstrong, I talked about it in the last episode, those goals right before full-time, but also half-time as well, so frequent nowadays in FIFA. Armstrong with the finish gives the Magpies the lead. We're 1-0 down in the northeast, and I was thinking, come on, man. Like, you want to stay in the title race, you want to take out the best team in the country in the game right now in Liverpool. I've got to make sure I win this game. So second half begins. I'm in attack mode, trying to get back in the game, and we do. Ben Davies, the vet, with the goal, making it 1-1. How many more seasons has he got in him? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But he fires in our leveller, makes it 1-1. Then 8 minutes afterwards, pushing for a goal to get in front for the first time. It's a brilliant slip ball through by Dan James, but the finish even better. Goal number 17 for the season for Rabbi Matondo as he hurdles the corner flag. What a glorious chip over the American Zach Steffen into the back of the net. We lead by a goal. And in the second half, it was all Newport County. Didn't play too badly in the first half, but I really woke up in the second, trailing by a goal at the break. Really had the chance to get ourselves a cushion, go 3, possibly 4-1 up. The former Man City goalkeeper Steffen with another great save there, keeping it at 2-1. And then a few minutes later, Lloyd Payne staying forward his attack, heads this cross just wide the post. But I didn't feel I was in any danger of throwing away the points in this game. Only up by 1, but playing some great football, getting great chance, just couldn't get a 2-goal cushion. But what I always say, I never feel too comfortable leading by 1, because even though I felt comfortable enough, I always know if you only lead by 1, all it takes is one moment of magic or a mistake, and then you're back on level terms. Exactly what happened. The Magpies taking advantage of my sleepy, disorganised defence to make it 2-2, and in the final minute of normal time, as we're tied at 2-2, Dragojevic gets around his man, rolls it across, and after Moreles lays it off, Kevin Volland, who scored their leveller, scores their winner. Yep, those late goals, so common, aren't they? Newcastle United coming from behind in a game where they had no business winning based on how well I played, to win it 3-2, courtesy of the German. And I was fuming, absolutely fuming. How did I let that game slip through my fingers, man? I just had 3 straight clean sheets and 3 straight wins against Liverpool and Anfield, Chelsea and Spurs. And then I go to Newcastle, and no disrespect, we know that, with all the money they've got and what they could potentially be in the years to come, could be quite exciting indeed for a project for the Magpies fans. But they had no business winning that game based on how well I played, man. I choked. Like, I'm just going to be honest, man. I absolutely bottled that. Like, that was one of the worst bottle jobs ever. I was in complete control. I should have wrapped the game up. I missed a few chances. And then he got 2 shots right towards the end and scored them both through Kevin Volland. Yep, absolutely bottled that one. No one to blame but myself. So yeah, not a great way to start the calendar year off, losing against Newcastle. But you know, every now and then I talk about how in FIFA sometimes the toughest games are actually the easiest ones. You heard me. What I mean is, the toughest games can be the ones where you expect to win pretty comfortably. So for our following game, we're away from home against the Brewers, Burton Albion, League One, just outside the playoffs, FA Cup third round. And I picked a really strong lineup. In fact, my strongest lineup outside of Webb starting a goal ahead of Price, but he's a rating higher than Price anyway. But 31 minutes in, we'd seen Burton Albion have a goal chalked off for offside, and correctly so, and then leading by a goal to nil against a team that are in second place in the Premier League right now. And this wasn't a backup side, this was basically my strongest team. I'm down by a goal, and I'm thinking, I can't seem to get the better of these guys. I can't seem to break them down. I had one good chance there. Dan James denied as it was still 1-0. And then right before the break, a chance here as Nico Williams slides it across. Gavin Humphreys hits it straight at the goalkeeper. And at the break, I'm down by a goal to League One Burton Albion. And I'll talk about this in a moment's time. We're still trailing by a goal. I was thinking, I just can't seem to get it going in this game. Like I could at Anfield when I was dominating. Here at Burton Albion, I'm down by a goal. And I'm thinking, this is going to be a giant killing here. I'm all over the place. But 3 minutes after the restart, we get back on level terms. Lloyd, who's been amongst the goals quite a bit recently, gets another one there to put us back on level terms. And after that moment there, Burton Albion, who, you know, were leading by 1, I've got to be honest here, sort of sat off quite a lot in this game, I guess being the inferior side, if you will, and I finally managed to get ourselves in front with 20 minutes to go through super Gavin Humphreys, finding our second, which would prove to be the game winner. But it was such a difficult game because, like, when I went to Anfield and we won 3-0, I talked about it, Price made some great saves. I didn't exactly dominate in the game, but the scoreline was a brilliant one. This one I had to scrape through in the FA Cup third round. It just goes to show, you know, sometimes the toughest games are the ones you expect to be the easiest. And a lot of people ask me about this, you know, they ask me about what I think about handicap, momentum and scripting in FIFA, the big 3 words that come up when you talk about the gameplay. I've always said I don't believe in scripting. I don't believe it's part of the game. I just refuse to believe that a game now that's got so much pedigree in the esports world and so much money to be made and lost on the game would have something like scripting in the game. I just can't believe that. For fairness, surely there'll be some tests to ensure that there's no such thing as scripting in the game. I don't believe it myself. However, I am a firm believer in momentum. I've talked about it before. I do believe momentum does exist because I think it should exist because momentum is part of real sport. You know, it's part of real football as we see. You know, teams gaining momentum during games and, you know, form. We talk about it a lot in FIFA Career Very OP. It's a real thing in real life, so it should be in the game. I do believe it's in the game, and I think it should be in the game as well. But handicap has always been one of those things which I've always been kind of, I don't know, just a little bit on the fence about, you know, and that won't surprise you if you've been following me for a while because, you know, I'm a very liberal, sit on the fence type of guy. But I've always been very on the fence about it because, like, part of me thinks, nah, surely not. You know, best teams should be beating the worst of teams quite comfortably, and if they're not, it's due to complacency, you know, a mental thing. But to be fair, there's moments like this where I do start to wonder, maybe handicap is in the game because sometimes I'll take on a side at, like, bottom of the table and I'll really struggle. I mean, I'm at home and I'm expected to win like 4-0. And I might scrape a 1-0 or possibly even draw. Yet I'll go away to the league leaders Anfield and win 3-0. I don't know. I mean, I'm not too sure. You guys can let me know your thoughts on handicap, scripting, momentum. For me, I don't believe scripting exists. Momentum, yeah, I do believe it exists. But handicap has always been the one which I've always been very uncertain about. However, nowadays, I'm starting to side more towards believing handicap might well exist because, again, you know, our comfortable victories against Chelsea and Spurs, you know, in a 3-game span, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool away, we win all 3 and keep all 3 clean sheets, but then lose to the Magpies away and then just scrape through League One Burton Albion with one of my strongest teams out there. I don't know, I guess it's one of those things that we'll never know the real truth, will we? But even so. Anyway, our third and final game was Liverpool. And again, the gap, 3 points heading into the game. So a 3-point gap on the Reds in this one. Win it, and we cut it to goal difference. They'd still be leading, as their goal difference is superior. We took the lead through Dan James. You know, a former Leeds and Manchester United guy is going to love scoring against Liverpool. Makes it 1-0 to the Reds. Would get back on level terms right before the break. 67 minutes in, I thought I'd won it. I almost dropped the controller there. Ravi Matondo shot the ball with so much much power, smacked the woodwork. Surprised the goal was still standing, but unfortunately went the wrong side of the woodwork, and eventually it would finish as a 1-1 draw. So Pauly Dybala's leveller right before the break. I talk about his half-time goals there, ensuring the Reds would get a point, and it means, as you can see, with 16 games to go, we've dropped a third in the table. The Red Devils leapfrog us on goal difference, but the gap remains at 3, and Everton themselves in 4th, gaining momentum, only 7 points behind as well. It's looking likely with 16 games to go, this is going to be a great title race. There's 4 teams currently going for the throne. But that will end today's episode of Club and Country, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't, drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.